So welcome back to the GDPR and data protection diaries. It's been a couple of weeks now since we last spoke. Things have been pretty busy. We've still been working on rolling out the last parts of the programme. We've also been down to the Privacy Laws and Business conference down in Cambridge, which is very good, and if you've never been, I suggest that you check that out. One of the things that's come up quite a lot over the last couple of weeks that I wanted to cover off today is the use of metrics in people's privacy programs and the use of metrics in people's GDPR preparations. Metrics are a really useful tool if they're done properly and if they're done well. Metrics are there within an organisation to allow you to monitor how systems and controls that you've put in place are working and to look at how efficient those things are. They're also a really fantastic indicator of early warning signs. So if there's looking like there might be a problem with a particular control, or there's looking like there might be an issue or even a potential security breach, good metrics can allow you to identify those things much further on, which can actually save you hassle in the long run. The key thing with metrics is working out what metrics are important to you. The number one rule if you're going to try and use metrics to monitor your privacy program is don't try and report on things that you can't see. If you can't collect data for something, then there is no point in trying to report a metric on it. And if you're not confident that the data you're collecting is good and is accurate and is clear, again, there is no point in trying to produce a metric on it, because you're going to get a false positive. Things are potentially going to look worse or better than they actually are. So concentrate really on the things that you know you've got good, clean data for. Some really good examples that we've been talking about this week with our guys up in our Leeds office is the monitoring of subject access requests. It's as simple as understanding how many requests have we had, how quickly are they being handled, and what different sources are they coming from. Are they coming from employees? Are they coming in from customers? Are they coming in from third parties? Are people carrying them out on other people's behalves? Understanding those numbers allows us to look at whether we've got the right resources, whether we're getting things done quickly enough, or whether we need to adjust things in the business to make sure that we're handling those. Another good example of a metric would be a right to be forgotten request. So how many right to be forgotten requests have we received? How many of them have actually been actioned? So how many of them were able to enact their right? Again, where are they coming from and how long is it taking us to respond to those? Looking at those numbers again allows us to look at resourcing and how the business is structured and make sure that things are going into the right places. It also allows us to feed back to the front line. So if we're getting a lot of right to be forgotten requests and they're all being declined for the same reason, because they're still a customer or they've just finished being a customer, then we can pass that information to the front line, and the front line can try and stop those requests from coming in at all. A couple of the other things that we report on and I look at in terms of our privacy program include our consent rates. So we look at the number of people over a 3-month period that have given us their consent to receive marketing, and then we look at the consent statement that was in place to make sure that if there's been any changes, if we've had any peaks or falls. We also look at the number of complaints and expressions of dissatisfaction from people who have received mailings that they didn't want to receive, people who have received too many mailings, people that have had too many phone calls, or if they're complaining about the number of marketing calls that they've received. And again, that allows us to measure against the consent statement that we're using and against the activity that we're putting out. So we can make sure that the balance is there and people are understanding what they're consenting to. Some other good things to look at are the number of security incidents. So we often have a look at the number of thefts from electronic devices. Obviously, we've got a lot of engineers out on the road. These guys carry mobile phones, they carry iPads and laptops. All of these devices are encrypted and password protected, but it doesn't stop people leaving them on the front seat of their vans or things being stolen out of the cars. Again, if we start to see a rise in that, we start to see a peak in that activity, it means that we can go out and do some awareness and make sure that we're targeting things in the right places. So metrics can be a really, really useful tool for your privacy program. They can allow you, as I say, to monitor your controls. They can allow you to pick up anomalies that may potentially actually cause an incident or a breach further down the line. But you need to make sure that you're concentrating on the things that you can genuinely monitor, make sure that you've got clean data for those things, and then make sure you have a continual period that you track those metrics over. There's no point in just trying to do it for a week or a month. You need to be doing this on a regular basis, and then you can look at trends over a period of a year and you'll have a better idea of where you are. As always, if you have any questions or is anything in particular that you'd like me to cover, please do let me know. And if you found this video useful, please do give it a like, give it a subscribe as well, and we'll make sure that we follow up with more content. But for now and for today, that's it for the Data Protection Diaries. Thank you very much for listening.